Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Griffin here, and if I told you that saving money was literally one of the hardest things for human beings to accomplish, this probably wouldn't be all too surprising to you. After all, the concept of saving money and living in a capitalist society has only been around for like 5 minutes on the scale of human evolution, and has really only become prevalent in modern society since the Industrial Revolution when people started working for wages. And according to data collected by the Federal Reserve, American households had a median balance of only $5,300 in their bank accounts, while things get even worse here in Canada, where the latest data shows that the average household managed to save only $852 in 2018. Now, depending on where you're at in life, this may or may not sound like a lot of money, but considering the fact that the cost of living has skyrocketed over the past couple of years, we're talking about one large expense away from putting the average person into bankruptcy. That's something that needs to change. And thanks a lot to Coho for sponsoring today's video, but more on how they can help you earn interest and cashback later on in the video. Most people think of saving money as this super complicated and highly intricate task that only super high earners are ever really able to achieve, but the reality is that almost anyone who earns a decent wage is able to save a certain amount of money by the end of the year that's relative to their lifestyle. Say you want to save $3,000 by year end. That can seem like a ton of money when looking at this at face value and can very easily overwhelm your process towards even achieving that goal in the first place. So instead, as I used to do back in university when I had like 15 different projects all at once that I had to manage, but that were all due at the exact same time, look to reverse engineer the end goal and then break it down into smaller and more actionable steps. $3,000 in a year is $250 per month, and that equates to around $8 per day. So how can you go about either creating a new $8 per day or saving an extra $8 per day? Really, that's up to you. Previously on the channel, we've spoken about the concept known as the savings rate. Essentially, you take your income minus your expenses, that gives you your savings rate. That's really all there is to it, and you can work with these two different values to achieve, say, that $3,000 goal by year end. So look, I'm not saying that cutting back on your double long cappuccino is really what's ultimately going to make you rich, but all of these small actions compounded over months and even years absolutely will have a profound impact on your bottom line and really the capacity to achieve a certain financial goal if that's what you're after. What's even more financially devastating though are large purchases made without much reflection on how they end up fitting within your monthly budget. There's a book in Quebec culture called On a-tu vraiment besoin, and that translates over to Do You Really Need It? And spoiler, this is the type of book where the title kind of says it all. You see, most people have a very linear way of viewing their personal finances. Income comes in, expenses go out, and then whatever should be left over to put towards savings and investments typically gets dried up on this month's hot new purchase. So that's why, as we saw at the beginning of the video, most people are one large expense away from financial insolvency. The key here is to rewire your mind towards fending off financial impulses while also strengthening your investor mindset to really appreciate why having money in the bank and in investments is more rewarding than a shiny new Bowflex or whatever else you may have your eye on. But hey, I get it, it's human nature to want things now rather than in a year from now. Just this past week, I bought a new couch that I had no idea I was going to purchase before walking into the store. It happens. Before making your next large purchase though, take a second to ask yourself, do you really need this? And also take some time and a couple of nights to sleep on it to really see if you want to actually even move forward with the purchase in the first place. And after that period, if you're still keen on making the purchase, make a savings goal to actually work towards paying for it in cash. The worst thing you can do is putting it on a credit card without liquidities to pay for it within at least a couple of weeks. This will give you a much clearer perspective on how these purchases actually fit within your financial picture. But what about if you took human nature completely out of the savings equation? That's what we can accomplish with the next trick. It's a known fact that humans don't inherently enjoy doing things that are difficult and redundant. This is the exact same reason as to why you're probably long overdue for your dentist appointment that you've been meaning to reschedule for the past 2 years. Luckily, modern banking and fintech companies have made it super easy to fully automate your saving and investing without the need to set reminders in your calendar, thus fully removing any excuse that you might have towards not achieving your savings goals. So by setting up automatic savings deposits, this makes personal finance as much of a no-brainer as brushing your teeth in the morning. At least, I hope so. Personally, I have amounts that automatically get sent over to my various different saving and investment accounts each and every month to let compounding work its magic regardless of the market environment, which could, ultimately bring in human bias into the equation, which is what we want to avoid here. This leads me into discussing today's video partner, Coho. And if you're not already aware, Coho is a free spending and savings account that allows all Canadians to earn interest and cash back on all their purchases. And what I really love about Coho is that it allows you to generate 1.2% interest on the funds that are held in your account to help accelerate accelerate your savings, which is really game changer considering most banks' current interest rate on savings. Another feature that I think makes Coho stand out is that their regular account gets a minimum of 0.5% cashback on all purchases and up to 6% cashback when shopping with cashback partners including Indigo, Well.ca, Pizza Pizza, Chef's Plate, and more, while Coho Premium users get 2% cashback eating and drinking and transportation. So you'll be earning cashback on all of your daily purchases. What's more, I think Coho is great for most Canadians as it has no fees whatsoever, no account minimum balance requirements, as well as some great budgeting as well as saving features. And finally, I wanted to mention Coho Early Payroll that lets you access up to $100 of your paycheck up to 3 days early, which can be extremely helpful to many, especially in times like these. So if you're interested in high interest as well as cashback, make sure to check out Coho today. There's a link down below in the description where you can get started completely for free. It takes less than 5 minutes and there is no credit check required. Let's get back to trick number 4 now for saving some money. And this starts with a question that I want to ask you. Have you ever purchased anything as a result of direct advertising? Even though subconsciously your answer might be no, well, according to the data, advertising influences around 90% of consumers to make purchases, specifically millennials that consume more content than any other age group. Advertisers know this and have therefore been marketing through content for up to a century, from the first TV ad ever shown to now spending millions of dollars per minute at the Super Bowl. Advertisers pay for eyeballs, and where are the most eyeballs in 2022? Social media. In fact, the whole goal of social media platforms as a business model in the first place is to generate advertising dollars through marketing spend, but you probably already knew that. So what I'm getting at here is that by uninstalling certain social media apps like Instagram or Facebook from your phone for even 1 week out of the month, well, you're looking at both direct and indirect savings from being exposed to hundreds of advertisements every single day. I personally started temporarily removing these apps from my phone, even for a couple of weeks at a time, to try things out, and above feeling mentally liberating, it also makes you appreciate the things you have a whole lot more, and also eliminates the constant sort of buzz around needing to buy more stuff. Make sure to try that out if you've already done so. Comment down below and let me know how that's worked out for you. And in the off chance that it doesn't work out for you, well, maybe this next trick that's personally been a game changer for me will help you out as well. If you've been around the channel for a while, then you would know that I'm an investor, mainly in stocks, exchange traded funds, as well as real estate. But as an investor, capital, being money used for investment purposes, is always limited and the resource that's in highest demand. So as a person earning a yearly salary or whatever other income you may be generating, the balance you strike between how much you're earning and what you spend on everyday items ultimately dictates how much money you can expect to have when nearing retirement. You see, although past market performance is certainly never a concrete indication of what's guaranteed to come in the future, well, what is certain is that inflation chips away at the value of our savings and investment over time. And things also get way more expensive year after year. So every extra dollar that you choose to spend rather than sock away and invest is keeping you further away from your savings goals and any form of financial independence. What's more is that, say you were to invest that $3,000 savings goal that we spoke about at the beginning of the video, well, considering even just investing this into a super passive S&P 500 ETF like the SPY available in the United States, well, over the past 30 years, this passive exchange traded fund has returned investors on average a return of 9.74% per year, meaning that $3,000 investment would equate to over $19,000 in 20 years. This can offer a lot of perspective. So look, you really don't need to get carried away with this. Of course, we have things that we want to spend money on, and it's nice every once in a while to spend money on a large purchase. Just make sure that you're actually budgeting accordingly and make sure that you're able to purchase it with cash rather than putting it on a credit card. And thinking about, saving that $3,000 and investing it over 20 years versus spending $3,000 on whatever good you might have your eyes on, over time, this is probably going to be a lot more rewarding, and you will thank yourself for having made that decision 20 years ago. Hey, thanks a lot for making it this far in today's video. If you're still here, then you probably enjoyed it, so make sure to drop a like. It really helps the channel out. And if you have any comments, you know where to leave them down below this video. Thanks again to Coho for sponsoring the video. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to learn more about how to invest in the stock market, real estate, and so forth, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button to be notified of any new and upcoming content. And I'll leave you with this. If you want to watch a video about money goals to hit before the age of 30, or really any age for that matter, check out this video right here. You will not regret it. So on that note, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.